Okay, can you let me know why you made the aspect ratio when you made a new image the way you did?
I'm actually kind of just going with something that feels a little bit more. Uh, uh, to be honest, it's just like if I was, I'm thinking in terms of like wall design and whatnot. Like if I were to have it there, like it's so large that I'm literally having like even if I pull it back, shit, man, it's a feeling to be honest. It's hard for me to articulate. It's one of those things that's like it's becoming a feeling for me. Uh, it feels so skinny and constrained. It feels like a wall scroll, which is fine. But even still, it like if I were to put that up on a wall, I would probably have like three more there and go into a horizontal canvas. Because it is so awkward in terms of like a big wet rectangle. I wanted to bring it more into a square, but not completely. I kind of want to keep it like a traditional canvas. But let me try something real quick. Um, I don't know if this is gonna work out. But in my head, it looks really cool. I'm gonna have to try to develop the sense of it, and then maybe you can translate it. All right, Sycra?
Mm-hmm. Because I'm trying to think, like, okay, whenever you tell me something, I'm trying to think what is the concept behind this? Not just what you're doing, but why are you doing it? Why did you do it in that specific way? Is it really like don't use really skinny tall compositions, or is it don't use skinny tall compositions like this? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if it's a matter of like okay, skinny tall compositions. If I was thinking in terms of weight, it's like if I'm having that much negative space, it's because I'm trying to create like a feeling, right? If I were to really simplify it, like okay, this is your canvas. Like if I really wanted to simplify it into a feeling, like if I were to just take a dot and put it there and say, how do you feel when you look at that? Well, I feel down. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, when something's super tall, it's like, yeah, okay, there's a feeling behind it. So it feels like everything is like this. Like, hey, down here. And then there's so much air in between that. It's like, yeah, I could create something like that. And if I do that, my if I go just by what I'm feeling, like if I put a dot there, well, if I put a head way down here, then I would actually have like if I were to put a head like way down here, something like that. My immediate instinct is to go like this. Sorry. Really I'm sorry, down and then like the nose is like here.
It's like you're looking down on it, right?
Like looking down and make it feel depressed. Like it feels depressed.
Well, if you leave it like that, yes, but if you work on the top of your image,
If you work on the top,
yeah.
now you can make it feel like power. Like you could go like you could do this, and
Yeah.
if I were to boil it down to like design and then point up, I can make something feel powerful, which would be more of a wall scroll, which would complement nicely with three or four more. But if you
Okay,
if
so it's more how you use the space. If you have a vertical tall thing, it's good for certain things and not good for other things. And what I was
Yeah,
doing is more good for a wider ratio.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be more of a like especially because you're going like in a narrative kind of thing.
yeah.
So if I'm focusing completely on feeling, well then I'm going to start pushing things around. So let me
Well, the thing I'm getting when I look at it is that your focus goes directly to the beast on the background.
but your contrast doesn't say it. So your selling
Yeah,
point goes away.
Yeah, and then you have this girl on the foreground that uh, keeps wanna I don't know. It feels like it wants to get attention, but it doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Eh,
I see what you mean.
So,
Yeah, that's already a lot better. I would put the monster a bit higher and give it a bit more breathing room, but yeah.
I'm just blowing it up because actually what I wanted to do, because it was, and Ricardo, you kind of had the same thing going on with your Detective D thing, and
Mhm.
it was driving me a little bit crazy,
Yeah,
uh, because and Jet had it going on with his logo, and
yeah,
like in design, in like graphic design at least, when we start using space, we're using it like in a very minimal sense, but it's always with purpose. Like it is all about like a selling point. It's all about how to guide the eye and how to create a feeling out of simple elements, which is why you tend to see my graphic design going into a very simple direction because it's what's most appealing to me. Because to me, in graphic design, that's how you showcase skill. Is like how I can you make something appealing with less elements.
dude, that. All the same rules apply to illustration too. Everything you just said, you could say it about a composition of an image or less is more, and
So if I do that, and then if I go like this,
but you kind of with that you kind of lose. I mean, there's something about if you're
hold on. Just hold on. I'm not done. Hold on.
yeah, just
Can you get
just
rid of the
comment.
thing on his face, the monster's face? It's really
Yeah,
bothering me.
please do.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. There you go. Hold on. Let me grab something real quick. And like, even still, like I'm starting to create, even with just your arms and limbs there, I'm trying to create a little thing, but I'm a little bit off in terms of.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I would have done. Create like a
Here.
diagonal.
Sycra, what's your narrative here? Are they
Um,
like
I
partners? Are they
have
like
I have a speed painting that I'm doing. It's gonna be on Wednesday, and it's gonna show the entire process because this was like a 5 hour thing, and it went through so many iterations. And
Mhm.
while I'm doing it, I'm talking about it. So this one is like I had her first, and then I wanted to put a dragon. Then the composition felt really cramped, so I extended it, and I hated the fucking dragon, so I changed it, and then I just kept noodling it, and I tried a bunch of stuff that I never do. So I put like photo textures, and I used custom brushes, and I used smudge tool, and I just started painting like that for a while, and then this was just the result um, at the end of it. And then by this point, I was already like super tired. I didn't know how to make it better. I wasn't happy with the image. Um, but it's something that it's like, oh, whatever. I learned something at least.
But
I
did you give any thought of the actual narrative, or is it just happened like that?
I wanted the monster to be sort of like her friend, and
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay. Like they're tag team
yeah, yeah, yeah,
warriors or something. Okay.
yeah, something like that.
Because
But
when I first look at it, it kind of looked like the 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 dragon is about to jump her.
oh, really?
Yeah, because when you make that tall composition, you kind of infer
Well,
action
that and you
or
have,
the
you know,
eminence of action. So you kind of feel like, and he's really tall, so you feel intimidated by it. But then when you look at the girl and you see it, oh, she's okay, but she's okay, or she's not aware of it. So I think what Costa is doing right now, it works better on that kind of.
well,
Yeah.
if I were to say that they're a tag team, I would change his shape language and I would add elements into him. Like you have a scar going down the eye. If I take her and do something just like as simple as adding a scar on her eye, it says these two characters are the same or they're on the same team because like yeah, he's a big naga and she's like an elven princess and whatnot. but she's holding an axe, and she's got these feathers around her that is kind of mimicking what he's doing with his ears. But if I were to do that, I would create a shape language around his neck that matches what's going on with this right here, because you have some elements that are going on right here that you could take with a character like that and then move him like that, and then I would start matching their palettes a little bit more, just so that it creates a feeling that they're the same, they're one and the same, like and think of a team, you know what I mean, or like a military and whatnot. Well, you could have you have the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Great. The Army wears different fatigues than the Navy does, but they all have the same symbol or the same flag. They all have something that links them all together to say we're on the same team. So even though they're all on, like they could all have different languages and whatnot, you have to at least have something that says, hey, we're the same. You know? So I would do that if you're trying to sell the narrative. In terms of shape language and whatnot, so I would push him back, maybe. Like, maybe add some more atmospheric perspective or something. So let me try this real quick.
I think the dragon and the background and the context on its own, it's freaking amazing. If you lose the girl, and the girl standing alone, it's working really well together, well too. But the two together they're not in harmony, I guess.
Well, yeah, and you only have 2 reads. Where's your 3rd read?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is a rule of thirds. You could have 5 reads, but they're in design. Well, and even in interior design, like if you were to arrange things, it's
well. If you didn't cut the spear, it would be your 3rd read, right?
It could be, yeah, but yeah, probably, yeah. No, it's not. It's not. It's a compositional element. It's not a read.
Well, it depends on the attention you give it to it.
Well, it has to hold.
It's sharp and it's bright. It will stand on its own if it was worked that way.
Yeah, but there's no compositional elements that flow into it. There's nothing that flows into it. Like you have. If I were to just take this image, you have this one. This is a terrible color.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that if you work it it could stand alone if you work it. I'm not saying it is right now.
This, which is a cutoff, so then we have the read that goes there. That, which follows into that, so then we have the big red element that goes that way. And you have this thing there, so we have the reads that go here, so there's one. And we have this, which I think you executed really well. And then we have these that are all flowing down.
You saying you didn't like the dragon, Sycra?
No, I didn't like the dragon before this. This is a different one. Like, it used to be a dragon. It was terrible.
Well, you have a Naga right now.
Yeah, I know. Because I wanted to do something different. I didn't want a generic dragon. It's like, fuck, I've seen a million of those.
I really like the design, and like I said, if you lose the girl, the whole composition, I like it. I really like it.
Well, that's because I honestly think it's because you have round, round, S curve, round, 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 heart, this, and then round, and then round, and then that. So you have a lot of organic elements, and then you have X, X, X. And then those organic elements there.
Oh, man, there's a triangle on her legs.
Yeah, and you have a triangle there. But everything in him is round, 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 round. And then you have this nice little snake element there. So he's snaky and she's angular.
Yeah.
So that's another different read. And then I mean that's design language going a different way. And then you have
Yeah, but it makes, now that you point it out, it makes a lot of it makes a lot of sense. Shit. It does make a lot of sense.
so if she actually took a gesture that was more of a snake gesture, it would help sell that they're on the same team. If you didn't want to make the elements too radical. And then if you even had her interacting with him in a way, it would also help sell that they're on the same team if you did not want to start combining elements. Because like if she's leaning on the motherfucker like all battle ready or something like that, then like then it says that they're together. Or even if she's touching him.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have snakes, you could go with the narrative that she's like a battle warrior seductress. But like you do have a very generic read there, so I'm trying to cut that. I guess that's why I've gone into this. I guess that's why this is feeling better. Now we have this going on here, and then his arm is running into there, and then his tongue's pointing there. And then that's fun.
And now you don't have the aggression, because on the other one you have like all the aggression of the creature pointing right at her, like he's about to jump her. Now you don't have that like menace.
I still think she's rather static. If it looks like they're posing for a picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It looks like the camera guy sat there and made him pose for a picture. If it was like, okay, we're about to duel with each other. Like, okay, if I'm the POV and they're looking at me, it's like, okay, let's take an Instagram pic. But wouldn't she start communicating with me with her language of what she's intending to do? Right now, she's just posing because I can find. I guess a solid rule is if your characters look like they're in the middle of cosplay, it's wrong. You know what I mean? Look at how people pose in cosplay, and if you look at other artists, they'll pose them the exact same way. But if you look at a fighter or somebody mid-action, or even in ready for action, they're different. But that's camera posing. But you damn well could see somebody referencing this and making it into a cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no narrative. I'm actually just trying to put my feelings into words, so forgive me. That's why I'm like trying to search for why I feel ways in a weird sort of way. Like if it was an illustration, I guess it would be different. Like these are things I would use for like design. And like this right here, I would use this as an ad because she's posing. It's like a camera pose. Like there's no real.
But that is actually it has some life to it. Looks like she's got on the middle of something.
Yeah, but she's so static. If it was like if this was a panel in a comic book, it would be like somebody just caught her attention mid-action and she's.
Well, that's because it's eye level. It's always eye level. If you change the perspective on each on that picture, like just rotate it a little bit upward and to one of the sides or downwards and to other, it would feel like she was caught in something.
Maybe. I mean, there are those.
When you do eyesight level stuff, it's like you're part of it.
Well, yeah, because it's not.
Look at that one. That one has a tilted Wonder Woman right there, tilted perspective.
But even
It's still a
still,
little
she
bit.
feels she just
Yeah, but
feels.
it kind of looks like it was snapshot though.
Yeah, but her pose
Yeah.
and her face
Okay.
reads
Yeah.
as a narrative. Somebody caught her attention.
Yeah, but
Like she
for
stopped
me
what
it
she was
reads
doing.
different if it's just straight on like that fucking Batman and Catwoman you just showed us.
Like these are all fine for covers, I guess. I don't know. I really feel like if it looks like it's cosplay, I just is that Jen? Oh no, never mind. I thought I knew that girl.
Can I get back to it? We got a point.
Actually, I'm what I'm doing right now is like I'm thinking about like how people are make an illustration and how much these cosplay characters match it. And then I was thinking about how Joe Mad goes about it, and it's totally different.
Yeah.
Like totally, like even if this was at a like if Joe Mad were to fucking like reference this right here, it would be so much different.
Yeah.
It
Well,
would be
it's not usual for Joe Mad to do, like I was saying, a straight shot like that. Only if he's just doing, if he's presenting the character, he will do it. If he's trying to do an illustration, he will vary that.
yeah, but even still, this is straight eye level shot
Well,
right
yeah,
here.
here he's showing the character, and she is flirting with the viewer, so
Yeah,
it helps
but you
in this
see
case.
exactly what I'm talking about. Is even like the way he's posing the character is like there's a slight cock in her shoulders. There's a slight cock in her eyebrows. It feels like oh she's beckoning me over. Like okay,
Well,
like
yeah, you're in the action, but I mean, you get the same thing.
yeah, but even still, like nobody feels like they're. Well, this one I guess he kind of feels like she kind of feels like she's cosplay posing, but he doesn't.
Well, if you see the whole thing, it kind of does. See right there, he did a little slant in the camera view. He pushed it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's a worm's eye. It makes him
Yeah,
feel powerful.
yeah.
It makes
Not
you feel
only that,
shorter.
it makes you feel like a viewer. You're actually looking at what he's doing. You're not looking at him.
That feels mid-action.
That one's freaking awesome.
That one kind of feels a little bit like mid-action. I don't know. I'm analyzing it now. That's definitely mid-action.
Yeah.
That's again flirting with the viewer.
That is so cool, that hair.
Oh, it's funny. Like okay, even when if he decides to go static with the pose, he goes dynamic elsewhere.
Yeah, you'll always find dynamic elements in Joe Mad stuff.
But there's always movement.
Yeah, there's always something happening.
Like there's movement in the hair. There's movement. And it's big too. It's not like minor. It's like that takes up quite a bit.
Yeah, it's almost the same size as the character itself.
There's movement all there. That's probably why we're liking the Naga so much more. It's because there's so much
Yeah,
movement in it.
yeah. It does imply that he's about to do something. That's what I feel.
Is this helping, Sycra?
Yeah, it's helping a lot. Um, I think you're bringing up really good points. I had one more thing I wanted to run by you, if that's okay.
Sure.
It's just stuff I've been working on recently, and I'm doing it for the Bucharest Convention. So, figure Okay, I guess it starts. Actually, no, it starts further back. But here I was doing a bunch of thumbnails for poses of characters.
Dude, that top one right there is so fucking cool.
This one?
Yeah, I mean, I get it's a thumbnail, but the gesture feels really cool.
I did like all these. This is the first day I did 7 pages of studies in a day, so I was kind of happy with that. Now I selected like a few, and I was gonna do this card format, but I was also making it printer friendly. So these are all on like they would work on A4 or similar ratios. But I wanted to do a tall composition, so I figured, okay, I'll have these 2 ellipses as the design, and then these would be like detailed, this would be simple, and then the characters here, and then I started fleshing them out as sort of a test. I had to add perspective and shit, and every time I made it more refined, it got more dead and more stiff. But I like this one, and I hate this one. But what I'm gonna do is I was gonna do okay. So each character, like here, there's 12 characters, and then I could do 9 different versions of the colors. Like you've seen my DeviantArt where I've done like different versions of the same character because it's really easy to do color combinations. I tried changing her, but I hated this one, and so. I did this one. Really didn't like her, but I thought, okay, what if I do my coloring technique, but a bit different? So make it look like shiny and shit. So there's that.
Can I get a look at your sketchbook real quick? Like actually, like can you go through all your sketches of like when you're trying to do dynamic or like when you're doing poses? Because I think there might be an expression of you in it, and it might be defining something.
What do you mean by sketches? Like there's a bunch of sketches.
I'm thinking it. Okay, just can you cycle through sketches? I don't care. I'm not concerned about execution and skill. I'm concerned about silhouettes.
Okay. Okay. Well, here's some that are a bit more recent. Then yeah, so these are, well, I guess I should finish the card thing real quick. So yeah, I did her, and then was doing more of these and whatever. Like some of these are working.
No, go slow.
Okay, some of these are working, some are not. So this one I really liked the end result, and this one's interesting, and then some of these were like this one I felt was so forced and not working at all. I just really hated it. And then I was just like detailing some of them, seeing what works. And then this one is like the only one right now that I kind of like out of the design, but that's kind of the design. And then there's this one, and the colors, as I said, there'll be very different variations on all of them. This one I kind of like as well. But I don't like the skin. It's not working at all. But these are very rough. They're not finished at all. This is like the second pass, and then I'm going to do a third pass with a bunch of detail. But I like how this texture looks, this metallic. I don't know what it is, but whatever
you know what I'm noticing between everything that you're doing? There's actually a common theme that's going on. No. It doesn't. It actually doesn't even fucking matter who they are. It's actually funny because like Ricardo kind of brought it up, and it's kind of funny because it's like kind of reflective. I don't know when I think of like art as a like there was a time when me and Jet were working with each other and he got me to loosen up mentally and then my art loosened up. You know what I mean? My lines loosened up and stuff like that. And then there was like, it became more appealing just in the way that I was doing line work. And now I'm thinking about you as a person in a weird sort of psychological way. And all your like, if I were to turn everything into a box, or if I were to turn all your guys into anything, they turn into this. All of them. They all fit inside of this box like that. No matter what you do, they're all in a rectangle. But if you take, like, the guys that you're talking about that you really like, I get that your silhouette's kind of like, they'll go like this sometimes, or they'll go like this sometimes, but it all fits within a box. But if you take, like, things that you've always pointed out to me throughout the past that are most appealing, they generally start doing stuff like that. Like, very intense angle. Like, if we have a face here, and it's, like, really in your face, you know what I mean? And then you have the shoulders here, and then it slims down, and then it's, like, in a very huge camera angle and stuff like that. Now it starts to go into really fun stuff. And if you compare it to something like photography, like, the box becomes dynamic. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay,
like
so you're talking about the perspective tends to be, or the viewer's just, like, looking head-on at the person.
Yeah, it's always like this. It's never like that. You know, sorry. Never like, like that. And if you look at everybody that you think is appealing and whatnot, they're always doing shit like this. In terms of illustration. Or they're doing shit like that. Or they're doing shit like this. Like, their perspectives are always serving the narrative. Like, they're even bending their fucking anatomy to suit the major elements to go like this. You know what I mean? And then if you look at photography, like really cool photography, like when we were going through this, like Ricardo pointed out like something that was like pretty golden, which is, yeah, you're eye level with her all the time. But then you have something like this, and it becomes more appealing because, again, you have the cross happening in the perspective. You have a lot of foreshortening going on. You have a lot of fun stuff going on. Like, that becomes more appealing because you have those crosses happening.
Yeah, that's actually a rule of composition that I've seen in a video. I don't remember.
Again, crosses. That same shit. It becomes more appealing almost instantly. But this feels more eye level.
Yeah, that's eye level.
Like, and then if you look at like Cynic's stuff, like he really goes like boom in your face and then really tiny like that. You know what I mean? But if you were thinking in terms of just a raw feeling, like it's always, I'm in your face. Look at me. Versus, hey, look at me. You know what I mean? And it's funny because like as a person, Sycra, you are kind of like, I'm not saying you're dull or anything like that, but like you're timid. You know what I mean? Like you watch yourself, you make sure that you're always good, and then like it's funny because if you look at the way that you're illustrating, it's reflecting that. Like it's reflecting this very.
Well, I think it comes from other stuff too. I mean,
I'm sure. I'm just pointing. I'm just trying to find reason to it. That's all I'm doing.
I think you have a point, but can I explain my reasoning behind why I was doing it that way that I was?
Sure.
It was more like, okay, let me go back to, well, let me finish these, because these suck. This one's, anyway. Yeah, this one's the last one. Okay, so the reasoning behind it was when I had this huge ass page with all of them, I did a few that were foreshortened, like this one, for instance, right here. And that's kind of doing what you're saying, I think.
Yeah.
This one's a bit more foreshortened. There was...
Yep, but that one looks free. I really like that one. Wait, go back. If you were doing like a shot, that one right there. So the
Yeah,
one
actually, the ones that grab my attention immediately are the ones that you shift.
Yeah, this one as well. Kind of, it's ugly, but kind of did that idea. But the thing, and this one's really doing that.
If you were making the selling point her ass, yeah, that would be amazing.
But the thing is that I kept thinking, and this one as well, it's like where the legs become really tiny, and then she's coming forward. I felt like I was going for a very graphic, flat look, like a Mucha, Alphonse Mucha type flatness to things, and just these basic, you have a square, you have an oval, and then you have another oval, and you have just this very... like if you just made it a silhouette, it would be a very flat shape. So that was my thinking behind it. And a lot of them were flat, and then I had a choice of which ones do I pick, and I picked the ones like this, which are very, you see, like it's just, I don't know, it's really boring, but it's an iconic shape. This one too is very, straight up and down, whereas this one's more actiony, but it doesn't, like, it changes the feeling. Because I was going to make them into cards, and I kind of wanted them to be easy on your eye. Like, they're more decorative elements rather than... because I'm doing different versions of the color scheme. So it's like, how best to show off that? You want to be able to hold them together and look at the costume and like, okay, this part's different than this part. And I figured the best way to do that is to make it really flat, make it really graphic, and then go from there. And then here, even initially, because I was looking at different formats, like, okay, do I make the cards where they're a bit more dynamic like this, or like shit's happening more crazy? And then I saw these type of compositions, like, okay, maybe it's more like that. And then I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, this one with just the oval. And I kind of worked on that more. And then that's more where I was heading. And then I thought, what if I bend the oval? I make it kind of like just random weird shapes. I'm like, it kind of looks weird for the purpose of what I'm doing with this collecting thing. And so I settled more on this type of shape. Where it's
but
very decorative and very flat.
I'm still looking at your, like, I don't know, like, you have, other than this one, and a little bit of this one, like, you still have it very everything still feels a little bit timid. Like I would if I could make, like, not for stuff that you obviously are commissioned for, but if you were gonna make studies, what if you went into Dutch angles and like really started messing with POW, like big read, small read, tiny read. Like, if this was like, if we were talking about like big read, small read, tiny read, like that, there's like 1, 2, 3. Like if it goes boom, 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 like into a triangle there. Like, if you were to take, like, all of your characters and you were to just kind of put them there, it's always like this. Very minor variations. Like, if you notice that, like, in, like, photography or, like, in design and whatnot, you always have something that is like, we'll have a character in this, like, in this aspect, and then do the, like, if I were to really shrink my brush. I'm not nailing this 100%. But let's assume that those are perfect thirds, even though they're not. Oh, that's close enough. These lines are off. So in design, we go here, and most illustration is the four corners. So there, and there. That happens in photography as well. Like those are the gold. That's pretty much the four corners thirds rule. Hey, we want things to fall on these lines, right? So if I were to have a canvas like this, you'll notice it in my portrait painting a little bit. I'll normally go really big right there with like first read, and then I'll have like minor elements that go on there, and then let the rest of it over there kind of like fade out. But if you were to do like a character illustration, you could have like a big read here, and then follow, and then have your angles go like that. You know what I mean? Or angles going like this. If you were to really simplify it and do something, or not even that radical, maybe like that. Actually, it would have to fall right here, so it would have to be, and then minor elements like that. If you did a study on people who really blow out their selling points, you'll see it. You know what I mean? Like if you use perspective to do crazy angles and stuff. Because if you have an action pose, if I had a character that was coming at me, well, this looks like I'm going down with it, I guess. And I really wish I was better at figures. But I guess I'll just use I'll use somebody who executes it properly as an example. The best. Big read. Actually, the knee and the knee is a big read, then his minor read, and the knee is a very small one here. But it's coming right at you. You get what I mean? There's massive foreshortening going on there, and it always feels like there's a push. Like.
Well, yeah, for action-based scenes, yeah, but I think Sycra is going for something different, right?
I'm not talking about this one in particular. I'm talking about in general. It's just something I don't see Sycra doing very often.
Well, I think that's what I was about to say earlier. I think it's the way Sycra aborts things. Like he thinks about a lot of his designs. He really makes an effort to it, and the best way to study something is exactly how he's doing it. Straightforward, looking at it. So I think the way he practices and the way he explores stuff actually is translating into his work. I don't think it's about him being timid or not, because if you look at aside of that factor, if you look at all these designs, they're everything but timid. So I don't think it's a personality characteristic. I think it's just the way he's used to work.
Oh, okay. Well, then, if you're saying it like that, maybe that's.
I don't know. This is my read.
No. But that read actually makes more sense than my read. Like, it does feel very, very execution. Like, hey, we're going into study mode. Like, maybe you are stuck in that work order where it's like, where let's really think about it. And maybe
I'm just saying this because it happens to me when I want to explore an idea. 90% of the times I will do it like that, straight on, fit on that little rectangle you just draw, because it's easier for you to judge.
Sorry, I'm still screen sharing, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where the dragon thing first started.
Oh wow, yeah, that's not nearly as good. In terms of like your dragon, I can see why you hated it.
Well, that's not even the one I hated. This is the one I kind of was okay with. But this feels like
I like it. I like that, especially the girl. I think it's working.
The girl looks a lot better, but the dragon is like, hey. It kind
Well,
of
but now it kind of reads like they are on the same
it
team,
does because they're in the same color comp.
and not only that, they're straightforward. They're looking at you, both of them.
But when I look at this, I'm totally seeing what you said, and I think like I appreciate Ricardo. I appreciate how you're standing up for my study method and stuff. But something did kind of ring true with what Costa was saying when he was like, "You're timid." It's like I
Hmm.
kind of like a little like I kind of do feel that a bit where um, I'm still telling myself like, okay, I need to nail the shapes. Like, okay, because you guys were with me when I was just getting the basic figure drawings done. And I remember, I think it was you, Costa, who you had said like the heads look like one thing and the body looks like another thing.
Yeah, when you were doing, I remember that
Yeah, I
when you were
remember I
doing
was
the
doing figure drawing, and then I like narrowed the head, and then it looked way better. But it's like I feel like I'm doing building blocks, and like okay, so I need to be able to do figures, and then I need to have good shape language, and then I need to build on like drapery and perspective, and then posing, and like kind of in an order. And I don't feel ready for some of the things, but at the same time, I'm starting to think like, do I should I just proceed or should I be really viewing this like, okay, I'll get step one complete and then step two and then step three. And then once I've got all of them to like a certain level, maybe not great, but like decent, then I'll start, just refining it more. And anyway, so this is when I started hating it, and this is when I completely hated the dragon.
The dragon there is actually looking funny there.
yeah,
Like
it
he's
kind of looked like,
trolling you.
hey,
Hey, what's up?
It's like it got worse because okay, so here what bothered me was I have like a sun or moon or something, but it's not affecting the things correctly. Like the lighting is all over the place. Here you have a highlight, and you have shadows here. But then it's like, okay, so the light's coming from behind, and this guy should be casting a shadow right around here. It's like, this doesn't make any sense. So then I'm like, okay, and then this was retarded. I'm like, fuck. And then this is just still continuing, like, oh, let me fit this thing in
Man,
this shape. And it was not
that dragon
working.
makes me laugh, man.
It was not working. So then,
wait a second. Are you attacking this? Do you attack a painting as if you were do you attack your own paintings as if you were doing a critique?
yeah, that's all I did for this one. And it's like, okay, so look at this character. It's like, oh, the leg's off, and this is off, and that's off. So I did a complete red line, like I would do with anybody, and then I fixed it. Like, okay, she's standing better. And then this is retarded, so it's like, all right, fuck it. Don't be afraid to just scrap your bad idea. And so I created this. And the reason I made it so tall, because I get it that this is too tall, it's because I felt with this one, I was cramped. Like, I kept drawing to the edge and no further. Like, oh, you got to fit his head in.
Yeah, but that one was better. When you cropped it, it actually got worse. That one, when you did the one that you just showed,
Yeah, that one is
was better.
The composition is working
The
better,
composition
I
is
guess.
working a lot better, I agree.
Not that one. Not
No,
no.
one
Keep
you
going.
have
Keep
the-
going. That one is
That
working
one,
better.
yeah, that one.
Oh, this one's
That
better?
working a lot better.
Yeah, that one's working a lot better because
I think so, too.
your canvas is actually showing the height of the creature, so there's a scaling thing going on, and they do look like they're on the same side. And in terms of like, she does feel like she's standing with him because you see her clearly standing with him. It is working kind of on the thirds rule, even though you have everything kind of close to the center. I think it's fine because they do feel like they're together. And then you have his back, the back of his silhouette, acting kind of in tangent with her blade, and her blade has kind of a snaky crescent feel to it too. So it actually feels like they're working together because the way that they're positioned.
Oh, shit. So I probably should have stayed with this one then. But
I mean, it would have been a lot better. I think it would have been a lot better. Like, and you can feel how large he is compared to her because of the negative space all around it. Because like he's taking up so much of the screen, it feels like yes, they're together, and he's very big, and I have a clear idea of how big he is. Something got lost maybe it was the height of something really got lost when you cropped it. Because if you go to your cropped version, you'll feel.
So then I did this version where I cropped it slightly, and then this looked like an old man, so just looked like a pervy old man, drooling. And then I cropped it more, and then here's a final version that you guys saw. So
yeah, but you see, like if you go back to the one that we liked, you get more of a sense of his height. He becomes more lurky because of how far you can see him go down, and then the canvas size is actually serving the
and the faces kind of fall more close to the four intersections of the composition of the 3/3.
And you also have an asymmetry going on, which is actually probably what is really maybe what my biggest complaint was with your with a lot of your drawings is that well, I mean, I guess that's really what the feeling I'm trying to push towards is like when things are too close together in terms of shape, there's like no asymmetrical feel to it, so there's no weight. Like in dancing, if you notice people who dance, they dance in a very asymmetrical fashion. Weight is constantly thrown around. And if you look at a bad dancer versus a good dancer, it's all an exaggeration. So like one of the biggest problems that people have in popping when they're learning how to pop is one of the most basic fundamental moves is called a Fresno. The Fresno is a shift of weight from the right to the left, and it's a pure shift of weight. What people tend to do is they kind of turn into it to try to create that weight shift, but you can tell that their feet are still in the same weight, so they don't have a real weight shift to it, so it never looks appealing. Right, in this picture, you can clearly see a weight shift. I don't know. It's really kind of weird as I'm analyzing your stuff with you. Like like things are becoming. I don't know. Like it's weird. Like if you go back and forth and do like a compare and contrast in terms of appeal, like you see weights. Like especially like in camera. Because if you go back to like photography and stuff, there's always a weight to things when you're talking about selling points. And it generally goes into a big asymmetry. And foreshortening has a lot of asymmetry in it, but the closer you get, especially in design, symmetry is very boring. And you always want to move, like a big rule in graphic design and whatnot is you don't want things to be symmetrical unless that's a part of like what you're trying to do. Like you generally don't see straight on shots. You generally always have weight on one side, and it's usually like if we pop over to my screen real quick, if it was like if we go back to that like horizontal bullshit, it's usually like big weight here. And then, like, a small weight here. You know? It's always, like, an asymmetrical thing. Always, like, one side. And, like, if you go back to Final Fantasy uses asymmetry in terms of, like, coolness, like, all over. Think of Sephiroth. His single wing makes him cooler because it's asymmetrical. If you look at a lot of Japanese manga, if you look a lot of like at the Final Fantasy series characters or anything like that, they usually have they usually like you'll see a lot of cool guys and whatnot will have like just one arm covered in shit, and then the other arm is completely whatever.
Yeah. No, I understand this in terms of design. I try to employ this. This asymmetrical thing. I suppose with composition it's weaker. I'm not breaking it down in a very graphic way because I feel like I don't have these fundamentals built in. It's I just see it when you show me things. It's kind of like the difference between someone who's they're shaky with their proportions or anatomy, so they're always looking at reference, or they're doing a pose and then it's always awkward, as opposed to someone who's comfortable and just can focus on the drawing because everything else is second nature. And I'm realizing, like, on the most, like today when I did a study, I did a bunch of, I have to scan them, so I'm probably not going to do that because I'm going to go to sleep really soon. But I did a bunch of thumbnails where I'm just focusing on basic graphic design because I realized I did not give this any thought whatsoever. Like, my ability to design is very pathetic compared to where it should be for who I am. Like, you're an artist, you should be able to know graphic design pretty well. So, I really agree with your points.
You're real. As a designer, you'd be surprised how many people aren't good at graphic design, and by that I mean like that. Like even good artists aren't good at graphic design because I don't know if it's something that really needs to be focused on, but graphic design gets to the point, like kind of, I guess as you would say, like animation would, or anything in art would, where you get to a place where it becomes second nature, it becomes feeling, and simplicity rules all. Like you can always tell like how far a designer is in their journey based upon how much they choose not to put certain things in.
Yeah.
Because you start to learn the value of negative space, and I can usually tell like how good a designer is based upon how well they can separate out very simple things and make it appealing. And like they do it damn near second nature. And like I gravitated towards that way later. Like that took me a long time to be like, holy shit, that is fucking amazing. Like I like the fashion designers that have very huge negative spaces and then they manage to use one element on a logo and it's fucking perfect. It's like, wow, you have cut down all that work. You cut out so much work and you executed it perfectly. Like even if it was like a centimeter bigger on each side, it'd be off, but you managed to hit it. So like where art tends to go is, yeah, people tend to simplify and they go into like a lot of shape language and like the cartoons and stuff like that, but it's always going to be like really packed in, and like there's always going to be more than one element on the page. And then like you got dudes like Picasso who are doing it with like a single fucking line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I gotta go, but I really appreciate the help and the insights you guys gave, so thank you.
Alright, Sycra.
Yeah, man.
Alright, I don't know.
I'll send you some examples of. I'll send you like a whole bunch of examples of good design, and hopefully, just even by looking at them or copying them for a little while, you might be able to develop the sense of like minor, how to use big negative space and stuff like that. It should really help you out.
I think I need to devote like a week on and just try and figure it out, because I don't think, like, what I'm learning is I'm applying a lot of the rules that I'm finding out to faces and things I'm doing anyway, just not the big picture. And it's kind of stupid to not be applying it to the big picture.
You'll get it pretty fast. Once it clicks for you, and you develop the visual library for it, it'll be faster than anything for you.
Thanks. Talk to you.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.